Welcome, everyone. It is 7 o'clock. I'm calling this Germantown School District Board of Education meeting to order. Please stand if you're able and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Thank you. Item 2, approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
You were with the motion.
Point of order.
Meeting notification
Forgot.
first. Meeting notification.
My bad. Official meeting notification.
Public notice of all meetings has been given by communication from the superintendent's office to the public, to those news media who have requested such notices, and to the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, Northwest Now, Express News, and West Bend Daily News. Public notice has also been posted in schools throughout the district and on the Germantown School District website.
Thank you. Item B, roll call.
Medved.
Here.
Ewert.
Here.
Barney is here. Loth.
Here.
Pollock.
Here.
Higginbotham.
Here.
And Brown.
Okay, now I think we can move on to item 2, approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Mr. Ewert and Ms. Higginbotham with the second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Moving on to item 3, reports. Item A, District Administrator Update. Dr. Reuter.
Thank you. I just wanted to highlight a few things going on in the district. Congratulations to all of our young actors. The Murderer on the Orient Express was a phenomenal play a few weeks ago. I know Mr. Barney was here, Ms. Higginbotham was here. I was just floored to watch. I saw the final show on Sunday, and from our set design to the production value, and it was an unbelievable performance, and just all of those kids. And Danny, our director, deserve a lot of credit. Heather here at the PAC for all the hard work. When I came here before Teaching and Learning Committee tonight, they were already starting to rehearse and get prepped for Hunchback of Notre Dame, which is our spring play. So looking forward to seeing that in production as well. And another highlight, our high school choir, Mr. Brooks's concert choir, will be performing with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra Wednesday down in Milwaukee. It's quite an honor, and we look forward to hearing and seeing pictures from that event. Thursday night is the Germantown Community Scholarship Fund's annual dinner and auction that raises just a ridiculous amount of money for scholarships for our kids, and it all goes back to Germantown kids. So we thank them for putting that on, and anyone that's attending and donating to that great organization. And then the last item I had tonight, just for some conversation, Mr. Loth reached out to me about possibly doing building tours again this spring, and just wanted to get the thoughts of the entire board with, there's someone behind me, thoughts from the entire board on if you'd like me to follow the same process, or if you have feedback about that as we did in the fall, to look at any of those sites. And Mr. Loth, I didn't know if there's anything you wanted to add related to that.
I think it was last spring or near the end of the school year.
Was it? My years are blended together.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it was.
last spring.
I think it was really, really at the tail end of the school year, and I kind of wanted to get it going a little bit earlier, while the weather is still maybe a little not so great on the weekends. Sure. And we're not out doing yard work. So I think it worked good, splitting it into 2 days. I can't remember just which schools we did on
We
which
did have,
days.
I think, all 4 elementaries on one Saturday, and then the middle school and high school on
Yeah,
one.
yeah, I thought that worked good, so if we could do that, I would appreciate it, and I hope the rest of the board does also.
Any other feedback, or I'll follow the same process as last year?
I'd follow the same process.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Item B, Germantown High School presentation. Mr. Joe Farron and his Germantown High School administrative team. Welcome.
All right, yes, come on up. All right. So it is our turn to present, though we have home court advantage for pretty much every board meeting being in the PAC. So with me, you know who I am, Alex Fisher, who is our newest addition to the administrative team, David Smith, and Andrew Rooney, both assistant principals. So a few things, go ahead, Dr. Ryder, or whoever has control. Just a few updates, and then what we have for you tonight dovetails into one of the agenda items that you'll see later. So just a few things. You were made aware there was quite a bit of information that came out after the state superintendent's visit. So that went extremely well with her team. You'll see a little bit of what the students presented that day in a little bit. Under athletics and activities, some information about our swim and dive team, wrestling team, and then 472 people attended Murder on the Orient Express, second best-selling play in Germantown. So the question is, what was the number one? Anyone know? I thought it would be Sound of Music because that was our first one. It was actually Clue. So this one came in second. And then for programming growth, youth apprenticeship enrollment has doubled for next year. Be on the lookout for expanding things dealing with industry credentials. And then we'll have our first all-school career fair. You'll get an invite to that on May 21st. Okay, and just if you want to, that's fine, yep. Okay, just a few things, and then we want to hear from a couple of our students. So first of all, I want to thank the board for approving the ACP coordinator, Dean of Students position back in the winter of 2022. I was at that meeting. I remember in public comment, there were some comments about they'll never do any of this ACP thing because they'll just be dealing with behavior issues. I think you've seen in committee, you'll see tonight, and you'll hear from students the value of that position. So I want to thank the board for approving that back in 2022. That led to Mr. Smith being the first person in that role, and he did that for 4 months before becoming the assistant principal. Then Mr. Rooney was hired, and he did that for 2 months before becoming the interim assistant principal and then the assistant principal. So now we have Alex Fisher, who is the longest term ACP coordinator dean, and she's done incredible work these last 6 months. I think you'll see, you've seen some if you were in committee and looking at ACP, you're going to see a lot tonight. All of this is good for kids, and so if we get transition, we have 2 students who, they did videos because they are at DECA right now, and Mr. Loth, I know how much you love acronyms, so that's the Distributive Education Clubs of America. They are in Lake Geneva, 1,600 kids from the state of Wisconsin, 20 from Germantown, and both of our speakers tonight have done extremely well in the past. We wish them luck as they do that, but they will give you some information on the programming at this time.
Hello, members of the board. The following is the address of AAPU State Superintendent Dr. Underly from the Western team. Hi, Dr. Underly. I am Arjun Chopra, a senior here today to represent the GHS Business Program. I am a student, first and foremost, but I also participate heavily in various athletic and extracurricular activities, like FBLA, DECA, Student Council, and forensics. Looking toward the future, I plan to attend a 4-year university to study political science and economics, and eventually move on to law school. Hopefully, I can use my education to help those in need and create a positive, lasting impact on my community. Of the clubs that I've participated in, FBLA and DECA have allowed me to explore my interests in these majors the most. In FBLA, for example, I've competed in both the political science and economics categories, and I won a state championship in political science. In DECA, I participated in the Business Law and Ethics category with Frank, and last year we qualified for the International Career Development Conference. The business teachers at the school advise both clubs, and they have excellent sources of training, constructive criticism, and positive feedback. All 3 of which have developed my confidence in public speaking and analytical decision-making, with a host of other students. Their dedication to empowering students extends into the classroom as well. The business classes I have taken, such as personal financial literacy and international business marketing, have been well taught and have provided me with information about the financial world at both the household and global levels. For my desired career path, the business program, as well as classes like AP Economics and AP United States History, have been tremendously helpful thus far. I've also taken 2 dual program classes, Calculus 3 through Milwaukee Area Technical College, and Spanish 5 through UW Oshkosh. The dual enrollment program at GHS is robust and allows talented students to challenge themselves with highly rigorous coursework and the additional demands of competition. education. These classes have shed light on the academic side of the college experience for thousands of students, thus providing an early indicator of how life will be for the next 4 years. Overall, my time at GHS has been productive, and I am extremely happy with the quality of education. From the top down, our administrators do a fantastic job managing the school. Our teachers supply remarkable educations that are tailored specifically to each student's individual needs, and the 4 years spent here equip each person with the tools necessary to succeed in the future. Additionally, the business program has been especially valuable to me and many others. I am grateful to say that I am one of them. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Angela Jang, and I'm a senior at Georgetown High School. After graduation, I'm looking to pursue a career in pharmacy. Currently looking at UW Madison's early trans pharmacy program, which would allow me to become a doctor of pharmacy in 6 years rather than 8. We'll see how that goes. But obviously, this would not even be a realistic goal for me if I had been so well prepared by my teachers throughout high school. And I had the opportunity to take a variety of challenging courses in a variety of subject areas throughout high school. Some of my favorites were AP Chemistry with Ms. Collins, which introduced me to a lot of chemistry concepts that I would definitely be seeing on my path to pharmacy. Currently taking AP Biology with Mr. Shearer. It's always so engaging, so interesting. I love biology. Lastly, I wanted to talk about Ms. GW's PLPW Environmental Sustainability class. It's more laid back than the first two, but it has introduced me to lots of lab skills that I will be using in lab work in college. I've also had the opportunity to earn college credit all throughout high school. Starting as a freshman, I've been taking AP exams every year, and my sophomore year, I took a nursing assistant course at Minnesota Technical College. The following summer, I took Anatomy Physiology 1 at UW Milwaukee. I'm currently taking Spanish 5 through UW Oshkosh TAP program, and I'm also taking the Project Lead the Way Environmental Sustainability exam at the end of this year, hopefully as well. Beyond academics, I've been a part of 27 student activities at GHS these past 4 years. I've done things from music to sports to volunteering and much more. But the one activity that has impacted me the most is COSA Future Health Professionals. COSA is a career and technical student organization for pre-health students. And through COSA, I have the opportunity to explore career options through competitive defense, earn certifications such as CPR and first aid, network with students and professionals from across the world, and even participate in CPSO advocacy in DC and in Madison. And beyond career development, HOSA has also helped me grow so much as a person. I started my HOSA journey as a freshman. I was super shy and as a virtual student, so I was sitting in this exact spot when I logged onto Google Meet for the first Germantown HOSA interest meeting. And it's great to think that I'm sitting in this exact same spot now, but I'm looking forward to facilitating a state leadership conference this April for over 3,000 students alongside my state officer team. One of my greatest honors has been serving as a state officer for Wisconsin HOSA this past year. As the Vice President of Public Relations, I get to create graphics and videos for Wisconsin HOSA social media, as well as assist with developing unique and engaging programming for our state membership. Looking broadly at CPSOs, they all have this competitive aspect that I really enjoy. I've been a 2-time state champion in pharmacy science for HOSA, and I've also placed nationally in the top 10 for FBLA's healthcare administration events. And in terms of real-world healthcare experience, I have earned my CNA certification, and I work at a long-term care facility in West for almost a year. And although I don't intend to go into nursing, it's given me valuable insights on patient care and just what healthcare is like in general, and it's been a really valuable experience. There's so many other amazing experiences that I could ramble on and on about, but I just want to end this by saying that I'm truly thankful for all the resources and opportunities available to students at GHS. support of my teachers, counselors, and administrators, I could be sitting here today as totally lost and confused first-generation student, but I really feel that my time at JHS has set me up for success after high school. Thank you.
This is not made for short people, sorry. Okay. So we wanted to highlight those students because they are the example of why we do academic and career planning in Germantown and across the state and across the country. Academic and career planning are all of the opportunities we offer our students to give them a peek into what life may be like after high school so they can develop their post-secondary plans, from the dual enrollment credits to the industry-based credentials, to the courses that are offered to our students, the organizations they can get involved in. That prepares our students to be successful graduates after high school. So the Education for Employment Plan is a big piece of how we prepare our students for those post-secondary plans. The E4E plan is a state mandate under PI 26 that we approve every year, so that is on your docket this evening. It outlines all of the components of ACP that we provide for students and is an ever-changing plan. So while we're asking for its approval this evening, please know that it will consistently change from year to year as we evaluate our programming. Within that E4E plan will be our Portrait of a Graduate as well as our Readiness Scorecard. The Portrait of a Graduate is our vision and mission for the values and attributes we want to instill in all graduates. So if you click on the external use version, this is what we'll share with families and our students on what we would identify as a Germantown graduate. There's a bit of an explanation of the Portrait of a Graduate itself, which is basically answering the question, are Germantown graduates prepared for whatever their post-secondary plans may be? And academic and career planning programming is the vehicle we use to get them there. Whereas the readiness scorecard will be how we evaluate ourselves as a district to determine what are our areas for growth and what are our strengths. This piece here is the actual portrait of a graduate. So upon graduation, we would hope that all students are soaring towards college, career, and life readiness, where soaring is an acronym for each of the attributes, dispositions, and values we want to instill in all of our graduates by the time they leave here. So strives to grow academically, with the key word being grow, as we want all students to progress within their academics, orchestrates future goals and plans. So that's really the heart of ACP, having an end goal in mind for the time that they leave us. Attains employability skills, so all the skills students need to be successful within future jobs, responsibly carrying out their civic duties. So the basic civic duty I think of is just the simple act of registering to vote, and I think that's where like the parental and community piece comes into play. Immerses in self-reflection, so always aiming once again to grow and reflect on how they can improve. Navigating finances responsibly, so we're really ahead of the game in Germantown for that piece, being that we offer financial literacy as a graduation requirement, which is now a state mandate for the class of 2028, and then grows in 21st century skills, so the skills that all students need to be successful in today's society, such as digital literacy. To really define what is college, career, and life ready, we developed some indicators that are based off of state and national metrics to help guide parents and families of things to consider as their students are moving on whatever path they choose after high school. So you'll see for the academics a myriad from dual enrollment to Algebra 2 course grades to AP classes. In the career ready, you'll see a focus on workplace learning experiences and industry-based credentials, as well as community service. And in the life component, this becomes a little more subjective because it's more based off of what we value as a school community. So attendance, our personal financial literacy, and then being a concentrator in either fine arts, CTE, or world language to ensure that we're measuring a robust amount of programming for our students. The external version will be used, as I stated, for primarily our families and community, whereas the internal version will primarily be used as a building to evaluate areas we can improve in our academic and career planning. In that document, it looks almost exactly identical. The only difference is the metric component that we have included. The metrics or the data is not accurate. We are working on pulling that from our student information system, but wanted to get the metrics in front of the board for approval first before we start to pull some of that information. So these are the three main items that will be brought in front of you later for your possible approval.
This says, we talked about the data not being currently ready. Do we have any idea of when we think that we'll be able to integrate the actual data so we start getting real?
By the end of this school year, so that way we can evaluate this summer what our next steps are for the beginning of the school year. We do have some tentative data that reflects past information we've collected. It doesn't include every single component that's listed in our scorecard, but in our E for E plan, I've included 2 snapshots of 2 prior years of graduates with academic data. So those materials that you saw were so beautifully put together by our Director of Communication, Mandy Race. She does a much better job than I ever could. But that portrait of a graduate and readiness scorecard work will really be the mode in which we begin communicating with our students, staff, and families about academic and career planning. As I stated, the external version will primarily be for families in the community and students, and the internal version will be used by staff to evaluate our programming, but we plan to use those documents to showcase student stories, kind of like you saw today through the lens of academic and career planning. And then we plan to do a marketing campaign, we'll call it, around our academic and career planning, both in school and outside of school. Mandy will also begin posting regularly about some of the academic and career planning happening on social media as well as our website. And these are just some snippets of possible displays from the portrait of a graduate that we would see at school. The student in the middle and the student on the right side of the screen are GHS students. The one on the left is just a snapshot. We hope to continually update these with our current students to be the true faces of our portrait of a graduate. And these are just some more examples of what this may look like on social media. So with that, you will see more of this information later this evening as it's brought for approval of the board, but I hope this gives a general representation of the value of academic and career planning and a general representation of academic and career planning, and I hope that you support this initiative.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? Mr. Vogt.
I was just wondering about that 90% or better attendance. I think it's 180 school days, would be 18 missed days. I graduated just a few years ago, and I think I missed less than 18 days for 4 years of high school. So I'm just wondering, is that a real number there, 90% or better? Or?
That 90% is recommended based off of state and national metrics. That's where we came up with that number. But we also, while truancy is the example of all or part of 10 days where we start to evaluate student attendance, we also have to be understanding that, some students do go on medical leave, some students do take several college visits, some students do go on field trips, and those things count towards that attendance measurement. So we want to make sure that there's a little leeway in there where we're not penalizing students for having some extenuating circumstances.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Ewert.
I'm just going to reference this presentation you just saw to make my update a little easier. In the evening, you'll be receiving a positive recommendation from the Teaching and Learning Committee around the program you just saw. So I will leave the information she just provided with us all for that update.
Perfect, thank you.
And just to conclude, again, I want to thank the board for approving that position. I think you can see the work that's been done in the last 2 years. All of them have had a part in it. that's really been amped up, and seeing some really great things coming from this. So we'll conclude with that.
Yeah, and thank you for giving the students' perspective. I think that really helps to hear from them how this affects their life, because that's what's important to us. Thank you again. Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to item 4. Melissa, just to verify, we did not have anyone sign up tonight? Okay. Moving on to item 5, consent agenda. Item A, approval of January 22nd, 2024 meeting minutes. Item B, approval of teacher resignations. Mr. Noah, if you want.
We have no resignations.
Okay, and item C, approval of teacher contracts.
We have 2 contracts to bring forward. First, Skylar Hine, science teacher from GHS. It's being recommended for this position as a result of a resignation. This is a 1.0 limited term contract for 88 days at $20,843. Next, we have Annie Wilbanks, English teacher, GHS, and is being recommended for this position as a result of resignation. This is a 1.0 limited term contract for 81 days for $17,585. We ask that you approve both.
Okay, thank you. And finally, approval of donations. Dr. Ritter.
We have a long list this evening, like usual. We want to thank the Germantown High School PTA for $300 towards Germantown High School Forensics, Brady Corporation, $300 towards the Germantown High School Choir, an anonymous donor of $1,420.02, the Rockfield School Art, Music, and Phy-Ed teacher request to benefit all students, Douglas Masham, $1,001 to the Germantown High School Environmental Club for the Greenhouse Project, the Croat family, $1,500 for the Germantown High School Athletic Department for football sound system, Germantown Athletic Booster Club, $2,500 to the Germantown High School Athletic Department for football and soccer sound system, the Kennedy Middle School PTA, $2,500, which are the rest of the funds for the Crusader Room at KMS, and the project is to start June 12th, 2023. The Germantown Athletic Booster Club, $11,254 for one soccer shelter at the Germantown High School soccer field. An anonymous donor of $2,153.98 to the Germantown High School for girls soccer apparel. The Grand Foundation, Grand Appliance, $500 to the Germantown High School Choir. And Patrick Preddy, $1,195 to GHS Track and Field Program for purchases of a pair of high jump standards.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll entertain a motion.
Motion approved consent agenda items A through D.
Second.
Mr. Barney with the motion, Mr. Pollak with the second. Any discussion?
Yes. That is almost $25,000 in donations. We have an awesome community that keeps giving back.
Yeah.
Thank
much
you to all those
appreciated.
donors.
Anyone else? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Moving on to item 6, Building and Grounds Committee, Mr. Pollak.
Yes, we met earlier this month. Mr. Lord provided an update regarding all the work that the Buildings and Grounds team has completed from roughly the middle of December through early February. Specifically, he did go through his work order report where I found it to be pretty good as far as the extremely large majority of the work order requests were completed within 10 days. There were very few that were quite lengthy. However, those that were lengthy had reasons behind waiting for materials or other types of things like that that may have delayed those. He also went through a larger project recap. Those were projects that have been worked on and completed thus far. He also provided a list of expected work that will be completed soon. One thing that I mentioned, because it was part of the donor list as well, the doors allowing access to the courtyard at Germantown High School has been completed. So that's a big first step in gaining access to that hopefully soon to be usable space. He also went through something that I will mention here in just a moment, the 5-year capital improvement plan. Mr. Lord presented the committee with the expected capital improvement plan for the next 5 years, and if it were to be approved by the board, the plan itself will be posted on the Germantown School District website for public viewing. That being said, I'd like to bring a motion with a positive recommendation to the full board to approve the 5-year capital improvement plan as presented during our meeting.
Very good. That comes with a positive recommendation. Does not require a second. Any discussion?
Does anybody have any questions? I think Mr. Lord is here if anybody has any specific questions for him to address.
No, I like the 5-year capital plan. I think the way that we've developed it and changed it over the last few years, very helpful to be able to see exactly what the project's upcoming will be and be able to budget for it. I know business appreciates that, being able to figure this out. So good plan and good updates. We appreciate you. And it's flexible. We are able to change it as we need to. So much appreciated.
Yep.
All right. Anything further? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Anything else, Mr. Pollak?
That'll be it.
Okay. Moving on to Finance Committee, Mr. Lowe.
Yes, the Finance Committee met on February 12th at the district office. We approved the vouchers. And we also had a presentation from Steve Krekelau on the TID projects that are going on in the community. So tax incremental district number 6 is the one just off of Appleton Avenue and a little bit south of Mequon Road. Tax incremental district number 7 is J.W. Speaker, and number 8 is north of Holy Hill Road. I guess I forget which the east-west road is out that way, but just Goldendale. Okay, good. And there is a number 9 that's being, there wasn't really a report out on that, but that one is under construction now, and it's just to the east and south of the district office. Steve actually gave us a bit of a glowing review saying that there's a lot of companies that do wish to move to Germantown because of the school district. And I'm not making that up, he actually said that. Okay, next item was Brittany's variance report. And moving on to full board item 7B, it was the 2023-2024 budget adjustments. Basically, number of items that have come up. Actually, at the moment, we are ahead on the budget, to the good side of things, but adjustments come and there will be more adjustments next month, the month of March. So anyway, the Finance Committee brings forward to the Board of Education with a positive recommendation to approve the 2024-2025 facility. Sorry about that. Wrong page. The Finance Committee brings forward to the Board of Education with a positive recommendation to approve the 2023-2024 budget adjustments.
Okay, that comes with a positive recommendation. Does not require a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Okay, full board item 7C, 2024-2025 facility use fee schedule. Essentially what has happened is we had a lot of changes last year. There were no changes to last year's changes, so really we've got the same thing going as we had last year. So the Finance Committee brings forward to the Board of Education with a positive recommendation to approve the 2024-2025 facility use fee schedule.
Thank you. That comes with a positive recommendation. Does not require a second. Any discussion? Mr. Ewing.
I just want to thank thank you guys for that. I was able to attend the Parks and Recreation Commission meeting and provide them with an update that there would be no changes. They were thrilled. That conversation also happened between Mr. Reuter's staff, Brittany's office, and some of the staff over at Parks and Rec prior to me being able to report it. So we're building that communication piece in, but they were happy to receive 0 on the adjustments.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that. I did not know that myself.
Thank you. Anyone else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Okay, full board item 7D is the 2024-2025 student fee schedule. Items were minor. There were a few additions, and in some cases, $5 or less on the increases. So the Finance Committee brings forward to the Board of Education with a positive recommendation to approve the 2024-2025 student fee schedule with the addition of lifeguarding fee of $90 to $97. Did we confirm that, or it's still in that range? It's in that range. Oh, okay. Okay, it moved from $90 to $97. Sorry about that.
Okay, that comes with a positive recommendation. Does not require a second. Any discussion? Mr. Byrne.
Just for clarity, the lifeguarding fee is going up because the cost of the program is going up. It's not us taking extra money to keep. That's what we're paying for the program.
Sure. Ms. Brown?
I think there was just a couple other adjustments up.
Correct.
Yeah, those were all in the list.
Anyone else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Okay, and the last item is full board item 7E, and this is the JV and softball field work. The JV baseball field is at Germantown High School, and the JV softball field is at Kennedy Middle School. We bring forward, the Finance Committee, a motion to move forward with a positive recommendation to the full board to approve the JV baseball and softball field work using Midwest Athletic Fields LLC in the amount not to exceed $29,440 funded using Fund 41.
Thank you. That comes with a positive recommendation. Does not require a second. Any discussion?
Just to point out, this is part of the 23-24 capital project list.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at the project. It looks like all of our fields are getting a little bit of love, which is good because I think there's a lot of safety issues that are involved in what they're fixing. So much appreciated. And again, back to the other fields, the donations to help are much appreciated as well. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
And that was it for finance.
Thank you. Moving on to item 8, Personnel Committee. Mr. Ewert.
Personnel Committee met on the 12th, and we had several subjects on the agenda. We discussed some of those already tonight in the consent agenda with approving 2 contracts. There were no resignations. We did receive a staffing update. Those conversations, I would recommend a review of that. Just do the cliff notes, and we've already handled some of that business tonight. Bigger ticket item on the agenda from that evening was the compensation study update. Mr. Nowak and Mr. Reuter both presented in regards to that. That was the 3rd phase of the compensation study involving listening sessions with our internal staff. So they broke the staffing up into 3 different sections, 1 to 6 years, 7 to 12 years, and 13 to 20 years, kind of recognizing those date ranges probably have unique needs and perspectives in regards to where they're at in their career and advancement as far as compensation is concerned. They were able to facilitate some good dialogue, provided us with a lot of the notes taken during that time. I'd recommend checking out the packet. You'd see quite a bit of information in there that the staff was able to provide up for us to take a look at. Didn't seem, the notes that we were provided from those listening sessions seemed to be the raw notes. Didn't seem anything was edited out of context. We were able to discuss some of the context of the issues that were brought forward, or concerns or priorities that some of these sessions brought forward. I apologize, there was a 21 plus as well, a fourth bracket for that. So this is the fourth stage of the study. We're looking forward to Mr. Reuter and Mr. Nowak's office bringing forward a comprehensive plan in regards to compensation from this. Once again, this is the end stage. We've studied the surrounding and comparable districts, our own budget, as well as listening to the staff in regards to their concerns and desires. We don't have a recommendation coming at this time. They'll bring that plan forward. Kind of note that came out of it, some of the listening session, we're tasked with dealing with managing two different generations of employees, maybe even three really, given where our staffing levels are at. So they're going to kind of take that into consideration, and what kind of compensation can we offer some in the later portion of their career that would align with their planning that they've participated in for their career, some in the middle, and then what kind of tools can we offer in the ones in the beginning of their career, and how does that work within our budget constraints. We're looking for a totality of that package to come back as a presentation to us at a later date. I don't think it would necessarily be next month.
We're working on something right now. It might be advantageous to have it for our one board meeting without a committee, unless we had a committee meeting the same night in March, since it's the third week of March. So at the latest, it would be April for board action.
The final report we received was on co-curricular compensation. Similar, but probably not quite as in-depth as the compensation study is. They looked at our co-curricular staff wages and kind of compared them, started doing an analysis around the historical data behind where we were at, where we are at, and what the surrounding communities are also invested into those areas. So we received a report on that. Further, I would say best to refer to that meeting to see the totality of that conversation. But that is all I have for personnel.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions, comments? Okay, moving on to item 9, teaching and learning.
We did that tonight, just before this. It was a pretty lengthy meeting. There was quite a bit of information covered in it, some of which we were able to go over quite quickly, but that was more due to preparation in prior meetings and the depth of information and knowledge that was built throughout several meetings. So I'll just start at the top. We received a report regarding a 3-year school library plan, and that's really putting in the framework for where our libraries are at and where we would like them to be within 3 years, and how they can best suit I'm losing my words here. I have my notes. How they can work best with teaching and learning and support our educational staff and our students in the best learning process possible. They had several goals, and that may come back in potentially a tweaked form to take a look at what they gave. They provided us some information from DPI and what DPI looks for, and where we're reflecting some of that initiative within, and then a couple of goals on where we'd like to implement moving forward. The board or the committee itself gave some feedback in regards to maybe a more clarifying path for those 3 years, some objectives and goals that we can measure and see being met, or if we come off course, we will redirect back on. The second thing they brought in was K through 5 digital library plan, digital media plan. Presentation that we received was very well thought out. It provided the information as to why we would like to go in that direction, and some of the resources that we would use at SOAR. It allows us, the program itself allows us to build and curate that collection ourselves. There was another option, which was joining a consortium throughout the state and just have a full access to what that is. But they chose to present an option that would allow us, well, probably a little more expensive, would allow us to curate it ourselves and have a little more control and segment based off a grade level, who has access to what within it, which I think echoes a lot of what we've seen in the community, heard in the community, as far as what we'd like to see out of that program. They did a great job with that. For more information on that, I would refer you again to the meeting itself. Third, KMS schedule update. It sounds like it's a work in progress. Jake was able to present on that. It showed us an example of what we currently have and what we're potentially moving to. No decisions are made on that yet. Extended minutes for math and English, a couple other programs throughout there, and then the removal of IDR and SAS in the middle of the day to a resource period towards the end of the day, kind of as a catch-all to allow for longer periods of concentrated subject matter. So we're looking forward to that to be finished up. It sounded like some timing issues were still being worked out.
Next month.
What's that?
In March, we should be able to bring the completed schedule.
Thank you. Yeah, so March we'll see that, hopefully. And then we had 3 new business items. The Education for Employment Plan approval. We just saw a great presentation on that. We received a similar one, slightly more in depth in committee. We've seen it in prior committee meetings as well. Does anyone have questions before I'm going to bring forward a positive well, we'll do that next. So our committee will bring forward a positive recommendation to the full board to approve this. Bring forward a positive recommendation of the Education for Employment Plan approval to the full board.
Okay, that comes with a positive recommendation. Does not require a second. Any questions, comments?
Just like to make a final comment on the Education for Employment Plan. I think so often we get so ultra-focused on GPA. And then what I like about this is it highlights that that's not just what an individual looks for. And in preparing for our students for college beyond after high school, that all these other things matter. So being involved in extracurriculars, programs, that all develops our students as individuals. And so that's what I really like about this. And I'm really looking forward to getting all of the information up, because as a district and building our district for our students, for our community, for everything, this will give a highlight where we're doing well and the things that we need to work on. So this is just invaluable to our district and growing it for our community and for our students. So very much looking forward to it, and thank you for all the work you put into it. And again, highlighting that it's not just our GPA, it's important, but there's so much more that goes into an individual and their and how they affect their community and around them. So thank you.
Yeah, I agree. This is a program that we've had for a long time. My kids were part of that, but I like that we've upgraded it and are continuing to edit it and make it even better than it was. I think a lot of times it answers the question, why am I learning what I'm learning? And having a perspective of what happens after school helps you understand why you're doing what you're doing now. And I think that's very important for our students to understand that. So I appreciate all the hard work on this. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
Board agenda C here. It's our head of report and discussion on summer school. It sounds like we're going to be removing the initial third session, so we'll focus on our core 2 sessions. We are also going to be adding a couple of things to programming. ALS, the American Sign Language Club, Nature of Art Exploration, Stories in Art, and Stories Stretchers. That will be in addition to what we were offering prior. Estimated, I'm just going to kind of go into some of the estimated costs on this end. So estimated salaries, $140,000, estimated materials totals $10,000, estimated $150,000. So as we offer summer school to our community, it's a vital part of our educational process that we do. We can see it does come with a bit of a price tag. For us to do that, removing that first section and rolling it into our main 2 sections will help us kind of manage that cost along with more in-depth programming. So with that, let's go up to my motion. Bring forward a positive recommendation of the full board approval of the summer school courses and proposed budget for the 2024 as presented.
Thank you. That comes with a positive recommendation. Does not require a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes.
And that is all I have for you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 10, new business. Item A, discussion and action to approve KMS FBLA overnight travel request. Dr. Weber.
Thank you. You'll see that our middle school FBLA team, Future Business Leaders of America, qualified, and they found out just about a week ago that they had qualified for the state competition. That's why you'll see the date on here as it's taking place right now. In the future, I spoke with Mrs. Unerdal and our secondary admin staff about instances like this that happen, and we don't have a board meeting prior, that I would ask, and it's usually within the co-curricular clubs like this, it's not a WIA sanctioned sport, that they, knowing if they have a quality team, they ask for overnight travel in advance when we put contingency language on there, and then we can bring to the full board the number of students in the itemized out report, but you've already approved per board policy the possible overnight travel if qualified. So before we move forward with this tonight, I just wanted to address that so that we don't, this is since I've been superintendent, I think this is the second time this has happened, and happened previously when I was director of teaching and learning, that wherever the board meeting falls, if it falls after the event, we're at the mercy of, we have to let them go without calling a special board meeting and going through that entire process. So tonight I'm asking that you approve the trip for the 19 students and 2 advisors and the costs associated with it for the competition that took place the last 2 days.
Yeah, I guess the good news is we're having success, so the reason they're moving on and going to these competitions is because they're winning and doing well.
Right.
So appreciate the update on that.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to,
Go ahead.
motion to approve the overnight travel request for 19 students and 2 advisors to travel to the Wisconsin Dells from February 25th through the 26th, 2024, to attend the FBLA state competition as presented.
Second.
Mr. Pollak with the motion, Mr. Barney with the second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Barney.
Dr. Reuter, maybe we should add that policy to our next policy committee meeting just to make sure we've got the right language in there to account for situations like this.
Good idea.
Yeah, I don't think we'd have a problem knowing they're going to a competition, that if it moves on, there would be an overnight travel request, and we approved it. I think that'd be okay. Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Item B, discussing an action to approve GHS HASA Future Health Professionals overnight travel request. Dr. Ritter.
So this one's well in advance. It's April 14th through the 16th. It's to have 29 of our students and 2 advisors head to the Chula Vista in Wisconsin Dells for the HOSA Future Health Professional State Leadership Conference. Actually, one of our presenters via the video tonight was speaking about that, and she'll be attending that as well. So you see how the breakdown here of the cost for that and transportation. So we're asking for approval this evening so that from April 13th to the 16th, those 29 students and 2 advisors can participate.
Very good. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the overnight travel request for 29 students and 2 advisors to travel to Chula Vista in Wisconsin Dells from April 13th to the 16th, 2024, to attend the HOSA State Leadership Conference as presented.
Second.
Mr. Browning with the motion, Ms. Higginbotham with the second. Any discussion? Mr. Lowe.
HOSA.
I didn't write this one down, Mr. Loth, but when I did a quick scan on my computer a minute ago, it did state that it is the Health Professionals Network, HOSA. I can't remember off the top of my head what that stands for, though. Because people looking to go into the medical field, like the presenter we had this evening via video.
I did hear that in the video. I did not look this one up in advance.
On their website, it says HOSA, and then it says Future Health Professionals. They don't really define.
Health Occupation Students of America.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Barney.
You're welcome.
It's a team effort up here.
Tom's our official Google board representative. Okay, very good. Thank you.
No, that helps, because I hadn't heard that one either. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Item C, discussion and action to approve teacher retirements. Mr. Noah.
Thank you. We have 5 teacher retirements that have been submitted at the February 15th deadline. The first is, and I'll go through them, they've all asked for approval tonight. The first is Dawn Christensen. Dawn has worked in the Germantown School District for 26 years as an art teacher at Kennedy Middle School. Prior to her time in Germantown, she worked in various substitute teaching positions in Waukesha, Menominee Falls, Brookfield, Sussex, and Germantown. Bruce Enlick. Bruce has worked in Germantown for the past 35 years, including 1 year at Rockfield, teaching 1st grade, and 34 at County Line, teaching 3rd grade. Jeff Gillen. Jeff has taught at Kennedy Middle School for the past 24 years. His teaching career also includes 7 years of teaching in Port Washington. John Osazenik. John has taught in the Germantown School District for the last 20 years, 16 years at Amy Bell, and 4 years at County Line. His teaching career also includes 13 years of teaching in Plymouth, West Bend, and Mayville. And finally, John Parrish. John has taught technical education at Kennedy for the last 25 years. In addition, he also worked for 4 years in the St. Paul School District in Minnesota. Combined, these 5 teachers have 130 years in the Germantown School District. In speaking with each of them, they're very excited about the next step in their lives, but at the same time, there's always a little nervousness when you consider the amount of time that's been committed to the profession, and in this case, to Germantown. So we're very happy for them, and we ask for your approval of their resignations and retirements.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the request for retirement at the conclusion of the 23-24 school year for Dawn Christensen, Bruce Enlick, Jeff Gillen, John Osazenik, and John Parrish, and thank them for their many years of service to our district.
Second.
Ms. Higginbotham with the motion, Mr. Pollock with the second. Any discussion? I would just like to say that knowing these teachers well, all of my kids have had them at some point. It's bittersweet, and I think I can feel a little bit of their pain. You know, they've been here for a long time and have contributed a lot to this district. You know, these names are synonymous with Germantown, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt Germantown, but good for them. We congratulate them and well, wish them the best in their next steps.
I'd like to wish each and every one of these teachers a happy, healthy, safe, and warm retirement, and thank you for your service.
Okay, anyone else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Thank you, Mr. Nowak. I'll entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statutes 19.85 1E to deliberate or negotiate the public purchase of public properties, the investment of district funds, or conduct other board business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. Item 1, discuss negotiations for certified staff.
So motion is stated.
Roll call.
Medved,
Yes.
Ewert,
Yes.
myself, yes. Loth,
Yes.
Pollock,
Yes.
Higginbotham,
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Thank you. We are now in closed session at 8:02 p.m. Thank you all for coming, and drive home safe.